Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz. This is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is March 23rd, Friday. Using my new iPad 3, or whatever, new iPad. I can see it better, I guess. I don't know, same thing. Anyway, this is the news we covered pretty much over this past week at the Search and Roundtable. Some interesting topics. I'll keep it quick and fast. This morning I posted about a story I found on Hacker News via doing my typical searches, and basically there was a story on The Atlantic by Paul Graham basically saying how Google stopped being Google. And in that he said they tweak results based on the amount of revenue they are likely to bring in. So a Googler named Ryan, who's been working on search quality and search results at Google on the ranking algorithm side for over 5 years at Google, saw this and posted on Hacker News. He's very, very active on Hacker News, and said this is completely false. He said this is entirely false, and he's added, I wish misinformation would stop on this information. And he basically said there's an extremely rigid firewall between the search side and the ad side, and things like this never happen. He went on to say, when search results do suck, it has nothing to do with, let me quote you, perversely smart at funneling you into money-making opportunities. Basically, it's not about making money, but rather, and he goes on to say that it's Google's system is too stupid to give you the right result. Not only that, he goes ahead and writes, I've worked in search at Google for over 5 years. I know all the signals that determine how results are ranked and most of the details on how they are used. I know all of the metrics that are used to evaluate and tune rankings. I know nearly everyone who works in rankings, and I've seen a decent fraction of launch decisions and metrics supporting them. I'm telling you, with no caveats, that we don't make ranking decisions based on statistics related to revenue. If that doesn't convince you, then I don't know what would. So this is clearly an engineer who's furious at people making accusations about Google's search algorithm being solely about how we're making money for Google. The ad side is, the algorithms in terms of organic stuff is not, and he's obviously very, very upset and offended by people making those accusations, since he's been personally involved in all the ranking signals over the past 5 years or so. I made this a top story today. If you want to take a look at it, it's pretty interesting. A few things is obviously him being so upset about this, and two is that there's one person who actually knows all the ranking signals involved in Google. Another thing we discussed this week was that Danny covered this in detail, but basically Firefox is testing adding the default when you do a search at Google, it's going to default to SSL Search. And as you know, Google switched over their logged in users to SSL Search by default, and my search results in terms of keyword sources is now 30% not provided. By that I mean that I'm not able to know about 30% of the keywords that are done on Google that are found on my website, that people find my site through Google. I'm not able to know about 30% of what they searched on within Google Analytics. That being said, basically Firefox will be adding that. As a default. Right now they're testing it on one of their developer trunks, and if it works out well, they're actually going to push it out to their main Firefox, which is actually going to probably impact a tremendous amount of searches. And I wouldn't be surprised if my search query not provided count is closer to 50% after this is released. There's no ETA on when it's going to be pushed out, but it will be pushed out. Also, Google made a change for browsers that can handle it, specifically Chrome right now, with the HTTP refer. Basically, if your browser can handle HTTP refer, Google made a slight change that removes a redirect. The problem with this is that if your analytics software doesn't change the way they handle this HTTP refer thing, all Google traffic that's sent to your site from that browser is going to be labeled as referred traffic, direct traffic, versus search organic traffic. So just keep that in mind. I believe Google's informing all those major analytics companies, as well as obviously themselves, to make that change. So it shouldn't really have an impact if you're using Google Analytics, but it might have an impact if you're using other analytics software. We reported a few weeks ago, a week ago or so, that Webmaster Tools updated their crawl errors, and it removed a lot of details in terms of what you could get from the crawl error reports. But Vanessa Fox went ahead and updated her post, basically saying that if you do want to get that detail, you still can get it from the API. So you're not really missing that stuff. If you really want that detail, you could pull it from their Google Data API. John Mueller over at Google went ahead and commented a bit more on HTML5 and Google crawling, and basically said, although HTML5 doesn't give you a boost, it has no downside. In fact, he's seen that most HTML5 websites that are built completely in HTML5 have a cleaner code base, which should make it easier for Google to understand your web page, even though most web pages are not so clean. They have no problem indexing, things like that. But the cleaner it is, obviously, the less bloat, the easier it is for you to integrate like metadata information into it, like rich snippets and stuff. The more Google data has about your web page, the probably better they can figure out your web page, and hopefully better they can rank it. In a sense, he basically went ahead and said there's no bonus and there's no boost for using HTML5, but there is definitely no downside to using it. This changes basically what a year and a half ago what he said when he wrote basically that he would advise against people using completely HTML5 websites because Google doesn't fully understand it yet. But now it seems like he has no problem. He's saying Google has no problem with it. Blogger added a new bunch of new search preference features, basically making Blogger more search engine friendly. They added things like meta search descriptions for blog posts. They added things like controlling the robots.txt file, making your own custom page not found things. You can even do redirects now within Blogger, and adding rel no follows, and also image properties on your images like alt tags and stuff like that, which is a nice update for Blogger. And then we have 3 logos. One this morning for Juan Gris, basically a Spanish painter well known for the art of Cubism, and Google has a really nice logo up there for that. Another logo was for spring, which was on March 20th. They also had a fall one in certain areas as well, where Google had a nice logo with flowers and birds and insects and animals. Bing had a nice flower logo. Dogpile had a nice spring logo with people eating at a picnic, and we had our own spring logo as well. And finally, it was St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, and a bunch of the search engines had nice logos, including Google, Bing, Ask.com, and Dogpile, as well as ourselves. And I'll post those in the videos as you can see it. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Today, again, is March 23rd, Friday, and we'll speak to you guys next week. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.